Welcome to my friend Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
You wrote a book that we just finished reading, and it's called Jericho Alley.
Yes, I
Thank
did.
you.
I had a great time writing it.
I am so appreciative that you sent it in. I know T Fairy really enjoyed it. Can you tell us a little bit about the story and what inspired you to write it?
Sure. So the story is about a homeless dog. His name is Jello, and he lives on the street with his friend Sam, a human friend Sam. And they have a whole bunch of colorful friends that also live on Jericho Alley. They have a cat and a rabbit and another dog. Is a German Shepherd with a prosthetic paw, and they all kind of take care of each other. And they live on Jericho Alley. And there's a storm coming, and that they're kind of all hurrying to find shelter out of the cold and find someplace warm with a warm food and warm bed for the night. Sam can go to the shelter from men and women, but Jello can't go, and Jello can go to the shelter for doggies, but Sam can't go. So they do a lot of stressing out about it, kind of wondering what they're going to do. And then they kind of find an alternative plan, which involves the kindness of a stranger who comes upon them and offers not only him and Jello a home, but all their friends as well. So it's a very happy story about folks who live in a different manner than maybe some of us do, and just talks a lot about how those acts of kindness, how important those are and what a difference they make.
I love that people do acts of kindness. I think that that's really an important thing.
I do too. And what inspired me was my daughter, who is 16 years old now. So she just started driving. But when she was little, like most of you, I took her with me on a business trip. And we had the very great fortune of staying at a hotel, a very nice hotel. And it was cold, it was chilly, it was kind of windy and rainy outside. It was like 30, 35, 40 degrees. So everybody had their mittens and their hats and their coats and everything on. And when we came back from dinner, there was an elderly woman who was sleeping on a bench, like a bus bench outside of the hotel. And my daughter, who was about 4, maybe 5 years old at the time, so probably the age of some of you, she was very concerned about this little woman, and she just didn't understand why the little woman didn't go home. Why doesn't she go home, mommy? Why doesn't she just go home, mommy? And I kept trying to explain to my daughter's name is Samantha, that some folks weren't as fortunate as we are, and they found themselves in certain situations where they just quite frankly didn't have a home to go to. And that's kind of how she had found herself. So luckily we watched the little woman through the window most of the night. And then finally a very nice police officer came by with lots of blankets and gathered her up and took her home to a shelter. But it kind of prompted me to start thinking about, I'm sure a lot of you guys have those type of questions when you see people out on the streets and, they're sitting on steps and they're asking for money or asking for food, or, they've got all of their belongings with them. So I just kind of wanted to explain, how that happens. And then again, how important these acts of kindness, really are.
I agree. I have friends that sometimes they have to sleep in trees and places that people normally don't sleep.
Right. So it's sad, but we can all do something to make it better, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of the life of a dragon too, is we like to sleep outdoors. So are there other things that you do other than write children's books that you're passionate about?
Yes, I am a healthcare provider. So that means that I take care of sick people. I'm a pharmacist. So if you go and you don't feel well and you see your doctor and they give you a prescription and you go to Walgreens or CVS or Kroger or one of those type of pharmacies, I will help you with and if you in a hospital, we also have pharmacists in hospitals as well. So I kind of deal with your medications to help make you better. And then the other thing that I'm very passionate about is when I was very young, my mother and I started collecting Barbie dolls. And I bet some of you have some Barbie dolls at home. Dragon shaking his head, yes. So my mother and I started collecting Barbie dolls when I was about 15 or 16, and I'm way older than that now. And I bet none of you can guess how many I have. How many of you think I have more than 100? More than 300? More than 500? I actually have like 1,000 Barbie dolls up in my dog collector room, all different sizes, all different colors. My mom's not with me anymore, but I sure do enjoy collecting still. So I have a lot of Barbie dolls.
Wow, that's just amazing. Maybe you can send us some pictures of your Barbie collection that we can put
I
in.
actually made a video for you, Mr. Dragon, that I'm going to send to you with me in the room, kind of taking you on a little tour of our Barbie room.
I love that. How exciting. I used to make clothes for Barbies. It was fun.
My mom did too when I was little. I still have some of them actually on some of the dolls upstairs in the room.
How fun. Well, that's a neat thing that your mom and you did it together. I love
Yeah.
it when moms and dads and their kids have activities that they do together.
We had a great time doing it. And my daughter, I'm not sure she's going to enjoy it as much, but I think she will when she gets a little bit older. But right now she's just like, oh, that room, mom, that room. But I think she likes that room.
How old is your daughter?
She was 16 in February, so she just got a car, so she's all over the place. But she's kind of into them, but not really.
Not so little anymore.
She likes
Huh?
to hear the stories, but I don't know that she'll take as good a care of them as I have.
Well, I am so grateful that you were able to come on the show and spend a few moments with us, and I look forward to watching the video.
Okay, and I will send it to you probably before the day's up.
Wonderful.
Sorry about that, Mr.
You
Dragon.
have pictures in your house. I heard it ringing. All right, I'm going to let you go and get rid of those pesky fairies. And
All right, thank you. Bye, guys.
I'll hide a tea fairy for you.
All right, bye.
Bye, Lisa.